And we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comics Della Morte,
Comics de
episode
la
30,
muerte.
Bad Blood. This is the second issue of American Vampire, and this one is the exciting one because it is written by someone that me and both Jason look up to, Stephen King.
Stephen
And
King,
before
yeah.
we get more into it, you got me, Crimson Owl Comics, Ronnie Gunter, my co-host, Frogbreaker Studios, Jason Alexander, and of course, I ain't got a shirt to promote the book, but I do have my Pennywise shirt, so got that going on.
I'm rocking my Daddy Shark shirt.
And we got someone already in the
Rude
chats.
Eats, what it do, man? My pocket.
What's up, Rude? Glad to see you. Oh,
Thank you, Rude, man. Thanks for
thank you. I
you've
appreciate
been
that.
hanging out in a lot of the videos here recently, man. We appreciate you coming by. I
Yeah,
hope you're enjoying them.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. So pretty much, just give everyone a heads up. Let me get my. So pretty much, American Vampire. It's two stories. One written by Scott Snyder, and the other one written by Stephen King. It's two different stories, takes place in two different timelines. You have one that takes place in the 1920s, LA, with the young woman who's an actress, and then all of a sudden she came across basically a room filled of vampires where they drained her blood and left her dead into a pit in the middle of the LA desert. So, and they thought she was dead, but she wasn't. And now we're going into the second book, which is a flashback to the Wild West, and you're going to see the very first American vampire that was ever born, Skinny or Sweet. So I'll let my.
You forgot something.
What's up? What's up?
You forgot something. St. Patty Day is coming.
Oh yeah, St. Patty's Day is coming up next week.
Go get a coffee from this guy and buy his artwork. We're 3 months in now, right? Like we got Cupid, we got Krampus, we got Baby New Year. I don't think I went in order. And then we got the Leprechaun coming, man. Like, you know, man. I keep seeing these previews all week, man. Like that stuff is awesome, dude. So make sure y'all go check his stuff out. Like he's got comics that's gonna be coming on his coffee account, man. Y'all gotta go check his stuff out, man. Like,
I mean, why not? I mean, if besides doing the horror review show, making horror art, and even if you don't want to buy a piece of artwork and you just want to support the channel here, because me and Jason, we love reading comics, especially horror comics. It's what we live and breathe for, and we do this because we love it. And if you could just send, $5 here, $5 there, whatever you can towards me or Jason, that helps out the channel as much as possible.
Absolutely. But it's like we review horror, like you said, not only because we love it, but like these are our tent mark. Gary, what's up, man?
What's up, Gary?
These are our benchmarks. Like
exactly.
You think I can't read Stephen King and not want to write horror?
Yeah.
You think I can't read Stephen King in a comic book and not want to write a horror comic book? Like Stephen King is like close. Like I got to get this guy's attention at some point, not in a creepy way, but our kind of creepy way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to scare Stephen King. Like,
for sure.
Have you seen The Drive-In, Ronnie? Have you seen this? Like, this is a teeny tiny horror book, guys. And I wrote it. Like, minicomicbundles.com. I write shit. Aaron draws it. Like, we are making like real comics 1/8 the size. The content is there though. Like, you'll read these a lot. We pack them 24 pages total every month for $5, man. Like, minicomicbundles.com. Go check it out.
Exactly.
All right. Our house cleaning is done now. So it's time to get back to the old West. Right.
So this takes place in, I believe, 1880, which I'll just bring up the image here, and I'll let you start off with how you thought about the book.
Okay. So first of all, the artwork is fantastic.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's written by Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
So my first impression of this page,
Raphael Arquette, that's his name.
Albuquerque,
yeah.
Yeah. Super dope. Like the artwork fits the Old West like
for
wonderfully.
Sure.
And I remember like looking at the page and being like, oh, there's so much dialogue. Like sometimes you just want to read a comic. And then it was like, but as soon as like I wasn't even through these first 3 bubbles, and I'm like, okay, Stephen King wrote it. Like this dialogue is fine. Like it all serves a purpose. Like this book it's just a blast, man. Like it's everything Old West, train heist. It ticks all those boxes, but there's vampires, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But
and just for anyone to know, I don't know how old he would be, but Mark Twain is alive during this time period, and I kind of get like Mark Twain vibes just by the creator here, where he's talking about how he wrote a novel.
Yeah, it's very true to a Western. Like it really is. Like you can tell, like that's kind of like Stephen King might feel about Westerns the way that I feel about horror. You know what I mean? Like just because he writes something well, like we all have stuff. And I think that, and I have to talk about Stephen King almost as much as I talk about his work. But there are certain things about Stephen King that just shine through. Like, especially like living in Maine now, you can see where he writes, why he writes, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell like that in this book that he enjoys Westerns. Like, he enjoys it. So once you can get somebody at that point, then they can create anything and make it entertaining because you're in their passion bucket.
Yeah, and just sometimes I just like to look at, especially if you're doing time period pieces, and I could just imagine how this old man would talk if he was like doing a narration. It's like, I only wrote one novel in my life, Bad Blood. That was enough to make me rich. It's basically have like that accent, that Western accent. It's just fun.
It's everything that you remember, or everything that I remember about Westerns is like, it's that bright bonanza style coloring where it's like,
and exactly, he got the coloring down perfectly. I really think he did.
It's really cool. Like it's a really cool read. Again, 1800s period pieces, not my bag. But now we've read this that works again in a genre that is not my favorite historically in being Western, but I enjoyed this. We did Frankenstein, which had a lot that was set back this far. And then we did the Russ Leach book. I'm so mad at myself for not being able to remember the name of it. But here's the cool thing. All 3 nailed it because they expressed it and they delivered it in a very similar style.
Yeah.
So if you're delivering your period piece in a similar style of Stephen King, you're okay. You know what I mean? So well done, guys. Like everybody did good. I'm rambling. So
no, it's all right. It's all right. It's good. I always like to have your rambling on, because sometimes when we're doing the review just with one person, it kind of goes by fast and you don't have like that great connection and like communication on what you like about the book that I didn't see, or what,
or what we both vibed on, like the colors. We didn't talk about the colors like through the week or even before we got on today. It was both something obviously that caught both of our attention while we were going through this story.
For sure, and as an artist, I just like seeing panels like this where it's like narrow panels, but it has so much like action within those panels of like the engine here with the smoke, the
you can hear the
ding
bell.
dale, exactly.
Yep.
And just like I said, the colors, how you have like this like old Western yellow here on the man's shirt, just really awesome stuff.
Right. Yeah, like when he got that shirt, it was like white, but
yeah,
just
and
from being on this train and they ain't got spin cycle yet, like
probably
ain't got bleach.
I didn't even know about this book until I sent it to you, and it's like I did that one page of the daughter and her father that takes place in the 1800s. I'm like, man, I got it pretty spot on.
yeah, exactly. There you go. Same thing. Like if you can follow it, even if you don't. That's the cool thing about comics is there's so many ideas that feel so different that we all see. Essentially, like we all see it a lot of the same way.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's like, I don't know, man. It's just me being silly, I guess. But it's kind of like standing on the shoulders of giants. You just keep riding out, and you see somebody like a Stephen King who writes a comic book the way that, with all due respect, and I know what I mean when I say this, but he writes comics like we write comics.
For sure. And I just love,
I love this red a bunch of dialogue, but it fits. It feels like a comic book.
For sure. And like these guys here, I just really love the guy with the umbrella. Like that red is a nice red. Like that's like almost like a crimson red. Haha, Crimson Owl Comics. Yeah.
But it's like
he said the thing. No.
Yes, exactly. You should have had like Peter Griffin in the corner, like pointing at you just now.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
They made the guy with the umbrella like he's obviously a vampire. He's complaining about the sun.
Yeah, for sure.
He's the tiniest, most insignificant part of that page, but he looks the most different.
He sticks out because you could even see his skin. His skin is paler than the other ones.
Right. And that bright red on his top hat, it's like strikes you like, okay, this guy's got blood on his mind.
Looking like freaking Danny DeVito penguin over there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So pretty much here we just have some dialogue, and as you see, like this character here with the hat, I believe that's Skinnier Sweet. And if you think that he looks familiar, it's because I think he is. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'll let you go on.
You've seen him.
Yeah, you've seen him. You've seen him before.
Yep. And it's a very unique callback for a story with. Also, hold on, let me read what Rude says. Also, random off topic because they're going more of the horror route with her story than the.
We watched it.
Of madness. Did you guys finish? Yes, we did. We
were just talking about that before the show.
We only stopped talking about WandaVision because it was time to go on live. Like that's really the only reason we stopped talking about it. I loved every episode. I thought it was really good. The ending was. I scored a 0 on predicting the ending.
Yeah, for sure.
I was not disappointed in the ending. I feel like the ending that I saw coming would have been fantastic, but this wrapped it all up nicely. But no, great show. I agree with you 100%.
Costume design, amazing.
Yep.
Like trying to make the costume that's iconic from the comics and bring it into the real world and not make it look cheesy looking, but try to keep it accurate. Amazing work there.
Yep. Especially since we got to see the traditional Scarlet Witch costume, and then we got the updated version, but A1 show. But yeah, you've seen this guy. What were we talking about? Now I see why they call you Rudy. You knocked me way off my pivot.
But now we're on the train, and you have all these people talking, and now you have this young guy with blonde hair and a cowboy hat. He looks familiar. And I love how Stephen King, he tries to keep the dialogue like simple where you could understand what they're saying, but he still has like some dialogue that you would see back then. It's like, you ever heard Hall's balls pop on a bonfire at a Glen party? You know,
this reminded me so much of what was it? It's the Hateful Eight, Tarantino.
Yes, exactly.
Like, just them sitting in that carriage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know, this many like varmints in a train is contents under pressure, and they all got something to say, and they all got these tough stories, and it's like you can feel the pressure building. You can feel that train like bumping under their feet.
Yeah,
all these things are going through your mind, and this is where you know, like, okay, there again. I've said it with a lot of books, but there's levels to this. Like when you can start to hear and feel and smell, and like you can feel heat like off these windows,
where you're actually drawn into the story and feel like you're there. For sure.
Yeah, you feel like you're in the train car. You're just not a part. You can hear the conversation. You're just not a part of it.
Yeah. So pretty much this cowboy, as you know, is sweet, as his friend is saying pretty much. And I just like the artwork here, you know, not too much detail. Like even here with the guy in the background, tall, you could go into real great detail, but you know, it's just the colors too. Like we said before, just real old Western colors you would see in the style, how it had been drawn back then. So nice.
Less is more. Like it was.
But as you could see, even like the main characters, like this guy's not that drawn detail. But then when you turn the page, these guys have more like of a crispy detail with a darker black outline, because that's the main focus on who they want you to focus on. So even though you have these characters who are drawn good, they don't have that dark black outline like the others do, because the artist is trying to draw your attention to where the writer wants you to be. And I really like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like environmentally, there's not much shading. Like there's shading on the characters, but just those thin lines and those, you know, the colors are a little bit more washed out as you get away from these three characters in the foreground.
For sure.
It does the job. And I got to imagine, like with a last name like Albuquerque, like this guy has got to be based out west. And there's something about these pages, like you can feel the West in it.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't doubt that he probably grew up on Westerns, just by the detail and like the type of style you get from it.
Right. If I can age myself a little bit, like this is like Pace Picante. Like you will not hold this book up and say, hey, this stuff's made in New York City. This book feels like its location, and that's the mark.
Yeah, which this takes place in Colorado. So
yeah,
the beautiful place,
West, right?
Beautiful.
Like, I don't know if that's like a official tagline, but I would consider Colorado West.
Yeah, it is. It's the Midwest.
Back then, yeah.
It's the Midwest because you have Missouri, where I'm from, then you have Kansas City, and then you have to drive to Kansas City to get to Colorado. Right. And like I said, Colorado's a beautiful place. I've been there.
I would love to go to Colorado. I love seeing mountains like that in person. But no, this book is the train ride is literally it builds the world without taking you around the world. Like
for sure.
You getting all these names dropped. You see who's running the show. Who can tell somebody to shut up and they actually shut up. I love the next story.
And I love the names like these people have, like literally like not typical names, but names that you'd have like for cowboys, like Skinny or Sweet. And then in this one, it's like, where's Ronnie Jeeks and the Blackmouth Twins? It's like, you know, those are typical names you would probably have for like outlaws back then.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like, it's the diner in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? You got like Mr. Pink, Mr. Black, and it's like all these guys are like tough as nails.
For sure.
But they are all trying to prove how aloof they are and how much they know about the world around them by like trying to out cowboy each other.
Yeah. So I guess pretty much Skinny or Sweet. He gets his nickname probably because of candy. I'm not sure because
Yep.
he's like, I don't want none of that. But how about that peppermint stick in my hat? He's like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Come on, Pink. My sweet tooth is driving me crazy. So yeah, I mean, maybe that's the thing. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool names. Like that's again, that's research. Naming characters is like my least favorite
mm-hmm.
chunk of writing. It's my least favorite chunk of world building, but you can
When
see how far it takes the world.
yeah, and when I was trying to find like pictures from the book from this story to like really use, I definitely wanted to use this as part of the thumbnail
Such a
just
good
because it has like yeah, it's one of those things like this is what I would want as a poster just because it has like that cowboy vibe to it where you literally have the train coming in and you have the silhouette of the cowboys, and I just love the idea of how he went about doing that because sometimes young artists, I mean, I even catch myself doing it back when I was starting to do a lot of artwork, like instead of doing like the whole silhouette, I would actually go in, have the detail of like what their color suits look like, how their back of their hair looks like. No, sometimes keep it simple and it looks amazing here just with the dark silhouettes looking upon the train on the mountain.
Yeah,
Just
it's
really
like
great work.
there's so much suspense because you can tell how far they are away from this train.
Exactly.
But their conversation says they've been preparing
Mm-hmm.
for this train to show up. And so it's I don't know. We gotta have a section of every video that is just what Ronnie and Jason would want as a poster in there from these books, because every book has that one picture. Like every one of these videos that we've done has had just like one or two pictures that
Yeah.
just catch our attention and they pop.
And I didn't even know the book was going to have my name in it.
I was gonna say, yeah, Ronnie, we
yeah,
got Crimson Owl comics, like we
yeah,
stretched on that one, but
because
it's there.
he's literally he's like, what if the crash kills them all, Ronnie? What if the kills Skinnier? I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, Ronnie is in on the heist.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, just a beautiful scene here, and then you have more dialogue, pretty much about like you get a taste of like who's all on the train, a bunch of rich people, and right here, if you remember from the beginning of the issue, that's actually the narrator. So he's actually writing down everything that everyone's saying at this point.
It's a very cool contrast to know that like pressure is building from these cowboys talking shit.
Yeah.
But there's also an external threat. But these guys, per usual, like these fat cats are loosening up and letting their guard down. They're drinking too much, and it's all the right ingredients for all hell to break loose.
Yep.
It's like you got the people who have the most to lose that are oblivious to what's going on. You got a threat inside the train, but there's a threat to everybody in the train outside the train. Just
yeah.
A good story is lasagna, man. It's just layers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's it.
And like with this page, like I've said before, and even with the beginning of the last page, I like how you could see all the detail on these people's faces, and then these people right here literally don't have that much detail in the face at all, in the back. And sometimes, like I said, with the artists, you just want to have like that much detail. No, keep it simple. Sometimes think about it. If you're sitting like up front and you're looking all the way far back in a room, you're not going to see those facial features that clear. So do yourself as a favor as a young comic book artist or just an artist in general. Learn when to add detail, when to keep it simple.
It's visual storytelling.
For sure.
100% visual storytelling. The best songs can exist without the lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Or the music. Like you got a good vocal piece or you got a good instrumental piece. You can tell, like, you can run this story without this dialogue just from the set design. You know what I mean? So once again, it's like you have to tell a great story in layers. You can tell a good story anytime. Great stories have these layers of things that, we haven't seen what the story is really about yet, but we're in it. Like, we're in this world now, and it's not bad. So that's another thing. No forced action, but
and you just got some great dialogue here. Like, not at all where he's basically talking about all their robberies are nice and legal. Blowing the balls off Special Agent Henry Finch after I escape is going to be my pleasure. You look doubtful, Special Agent Book. Not at all. Every hangman escapes in the end through a trapdoor and straight into hell. Yours is waiting in New Mexico. Just really nice dialogue. Like, even not me trying to do like a Western accent, it definitely, like I said, Stephen King wanted to try to have it where, like, how would Western people talk, but you could still understand what they're saying. Yeah. And that's the thing you want to do with these period pieces, that you want to find a way on how to make it look and sound believable. Yep. So, yeah.
Not every day you find the phrase sperm hammock in a book either, I gotta say.
Exactly. Sperm hammock. That's one hell of a line right there, sperm hammock.
It's there. It's attention grabbing, that's for sure, But these are rootin' tootin' cowboys. Like, this is who they are, and it feels like it. And you still, like, subtly have this, I'll call him, like, quote unquote Mark Twain narrator.
Yeah,
he's listening in on the rich elite conversation, but then without a word, you see him listening in on these cowboys conversation. Like, he's us. It's for like sure. This is the narrator without him narrating. Like, wherever he is, he's aware of all the things that we are reading the page, and it's just smart.
And that narrator kind of has like that old school, like, horror theme to it as well, where you have the narrator. The EC Comics, where you actually had the narrator with them. And now we have just another shot with the train, and you see you have a Native American there now. And even this page I really like, because it's just this black silhouette, and then the train tracks and the whole, like, hills and everything is just a plain brownish color, something that you would kind of see if you took a picture back in the Western days on what people would look like. Really nice idea of going about drawing that and just capturing that moment.
It just looks like that old patina picture that you might see in one of your family members' houses.
Exactly.
That, the glass is all sticky because it's just been years of grubby little kids like me touching it every time they come over to the house. And it's always hung in the same place, and if you moved it off the wall, you would see that big rectangle of, like, perfectly pristine paint, and you see how dirty the rest of the wall is around it.
For sure.
It just fits, man. Everything about this is just is great. And then as you get down into these, like, really gritty close-up pictures and panels, that black outline gets so heavy. And I didn't like that until I started to watch, what was it, Attack on Titan. And they used that heavy black a lot. It almost looked like a Disney cartoon in some spots of it, and I got that same feeling from these panels, like, because these characters, like, this is the closest that we've seen these characters, but you recognize them because it just sharpens up some of these details. It sharpens up the candy cane in his hat, sharpens up how blue his eyes are.
So pretty much, like, with the dialogue here, it pretty much Skinny or Sweet. It's like, let me have my candy and I'll tell you where the loot from the Bakersville Larks tucked away. So he definitely has a sweet tooth. That's where his name comes from. So
and
I just love those little details there, like trying to like even if you're trying to draw write characters in that are going to be secondary and not have that big part of a story, it's awesome to like be able to be a comic book writer or just a writer in general. If you're writing for a novel or anything like that, you have these small little characters that even if they don't say anything, they have something that represents their personality in the way they dress or the way they just present themselves in the book. So yeah, really cool.
Right.
So pretty much now, they're just having more dialogue, and just here at this point, he's just having a fight and giving Skinnier Tooth what he wanted. I think I'll stick to pink. That's Barkersville's job. Went smooth as silk to start with. And now 6 months ago, I believe that's where they're talking about it. Yeah.
Yep.
And with this flashback, I love the tone of blue that they got going on. Maybe this took place during like a night thing, like a nighttime theme, because it definitely has like the tone blue that we've seen in other comics. That if it happened at night, you would have like the main colors, and then you have like a blue hue over it to kind of like set that night theme.
You could plunk this entire page. Like I'm looking at the whole page here.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could plunk this entire page. I don't know. Let me unplug this real quick. You could drop this entire page right here, y'all. Change the weapons up a little bit. And nothing else, really. And this is Gotham City. Like, It's got that nighttime vibe to it. That, again, this is written by Stephen King, and it's so good that you don't even really need words on every page, and I enjoy the dialogue on every page. Don't get me wrong.
Just look at this four panel action theme. That's amazing right there. Very dramatic.
Mr. Albuquerque should get a phone. Should be the first phone call if Rockstar ever decides to do a Red Dead Redemption comic book. His
for sure
would be supremely suited for it. Like I love that Grand Theft Auto Rockstar like cutscene style, but this
good video game. I'm just gonna say that.
What's that?
Good video game.
Yes. But it's like this artwork. This artwork slaps. Like this artwork slaps, y'all. Like this is great. Like it doesn't always have to be like photorealistic. It doesn't. Alex Ross doesn't have to draw every single comic book, and it's like this is a heist, so it should feel fast and dark and
it went dark when you saw that kid with the teddy bear got shot.
Not the word that doesn't sound complimentary, but I'm trying to be complimentary. I'm trying to give this book a compliment in that the artwork is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Basically, I enjoy it. Here with these action sequence, you see the detail, and some people think, well, it's not like as detailed as some of the other things that Raphael has drawn. But think about it. This is a shootout. Everything is like these guys are like running and shooting. So everything, it's chaos. Not everything's going to be, fine black lines. It's going to look like rugged and almost like have motion to it. Especially this last one where like this first one you saw the more of the detail, the guy, then at the end you pretty much have like thin black lines and very less detail in the colors, but it sets the tone. It really does. So awesome stuff there. Just love the books so far.
One of my favorite things is in this next page, Ronnie. It's because it's just I
know what you're talking about.
It's just one of those things that you always would expect to see, and it's like I always noticed it, like how like the more rugged cowboys would talk. Where like this sign right on the next panel, there's a sign that says "Keep out. 6 men died here," but it's spelled like they dyed fabric. And then it says, don't be another, and another is spelled with 2 N's. It's just like, it's the most earnest, scary warning.
Right.
But man, it's got some grammatical errors.
For sure. But it just gives it more of like that, personal detail. It
feels like a cowboy. Exactly. It feels like a cowboy is telling you a story.
Yeah. So now we're just forward back to where they're on the train, just talking more about like the time that happened.
Yep. So yeah, it's basically it's not an interrogation, but it kind of is. They're trying to get some more details. This guy with this Candyman,
yeah, Skinny or Sweet, he's just so obsessed with candy.
He is like, I don't know, he's just a cool dude. Like he really is. Like he's a rapscallion. I enjoy like watching his mannerisms. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hey Frank, how's it going?
Oh, Frank is in the building. What's going on, man?
Yeah. But now at this point, you could tell by the shadow outline that the Ronnie and the other guy is getting ready to jump on this train and take it over.
And these tracks are out on purpose. Like trouble.
And me and Jason was talking about what we're going to show you pretty soon. Just the dramatic sequence of what he captured as an artist is like really great. And it's just so beautiful. But pretty much here you have Skinny or Sweet tying up the guy with the chain because he realizes what's going on. And then you see the engineer saying break. And he's like, why? Look at that action sequence. That is amazing. I love that.
Nuts, man. That is nuts. Like, these are the pages that, like, this is why, like, I enjoy reviewing these comics. Like, just pages like this. Because
and that's the thing. You could have 2 panels. Like, it's perfect. You just have like the close-up of the engineer's face, and it's like, what's gonna happen? And then you have this. And you even have like the sound effect going like at like a big angle and everything. And some words are bigger than the others, showing that he's trying to press onto the brakes and they're breaking apart and everything. Just such a dramatic sequence. And this would be definitely another one that I would want as a poster.
Yep. Because it's just, you can feel like that piercing metal going too fast whistling sound. But you can also hear like the crunch of these big steel train cars like crashing into each other and coming off the track. Like it does it. I don't know, man. Like, I love comic books, y'all. And like horror comic books. Again, like, this is a horror comic. We haven't seen one monster. We haven't, other than that one background panel in the beginning where the guy was talking about his fair skin. Like, the rest of it is just I'm gonna use swashbuckling because I know that that's a pirate word, but it works. Like, they're just not in the ocean. Like, this is all of that. It's all of that excitement of old-timey action adventure. And so,
for sure.
You got, now they're trying to get off the train because everything is escalating. Like, this is the payoff for like watching the tension build. And you still got these folks watching. It's like they're like vultures now. It's like, now the train is down. Like, you've slayed the monster. Now you go get it. Now you go get the eggs out of it.
Yeah. So pretty much now everyone's trying to climb out of the train, try to see who's alive and what's going on. And pretty much Skinner is still alive, and he's like, he's pissed because he knows what's going on. And you got Ronnie and his gang saying, hello, boys, just like God planned it. And who's God?
Right.
But yeah, just awesome work here.
How mad would you be if you got kicked in the face and the sound effect that you heard was chump?
I would be pretty mad. I've
like,
gotten kicked. I gotten kicked in the face before, and I actually own cowboy boots. I haven't worn my cowboy boots in a long time, but I could just imagine how they would feel if I got kicked in the face with those.
Ooh, yeah, I'm very fortunate. I've never been kicked in the face.
Yeah.
I kicked my brother in the eye with my big toe one time, but I was like 11. It was. I was trying to be Karate Kid. He was too close.
Right. Yeah. Just it's. If my brother was here, he would tell you how I sweet chin music him in the chin once.
Awesome. That's great.
But yeah. So now you just have Skinnier. He's attacking all these guys. And he's just a badass at this point. He's like, I got out of a train. I'm still alive. And instead of collecting my abouts, I'm just going to take a knife and go after the first, jackass who pretty much tried to kill me. And that's what he's doing here. Just awesome sequence here with the action.
Stephen King can write.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Anything he wants to. Stephen King could write a Applebee's menu, and you would go to Applebee's just to read it. Like, you forget, like, you get so wrapped up in the story because it's a good story, and then you're like, oh yeah, Stephen King wrote this. Like, this is why I'm on every page. And then it's like visually, it's just that good too.
Yeah.
It's just this is a really good book, guys. Like I've said, we had an opportunity to do a bad book and I quit. And I wanted to do something that we wasn't like gooey over. But man, like I'm very happy. Like I'm very excited to like get into this book.
Yeah. So pretty much the dialogue here, he's just talking about sweet little Ella, and just I figured how lonely she must be. You out chasing me, and also I sent her a bottle of wine, and you just see now this, I guess this guy's like wife or whatever, and you could tell she's smiling because she probably likes sweet. It's like my sweetheart and everything. But yeah, just I really like the design and the color here, and just I love like the way he drew the figures. Like you have Sweet in them very broad and dramatic, and then you see this female here who's like very thin and elongated in a way with her arms and stuff. Just really cool how he went about doing that.
Her face almost looks like he imposed like a photo.
Yeah.
She's got a very clear, bright smile for a background character. Like all of her features are very defined, more defined than you usually see the background characters. So
for sure.
It's another signal that it's all by design. You know what I mean? Like the choices that he's made artistically are by design, because this page that little panel feels different on purpose. And this guy is obviously tough, but he's a very cozy little romance writer.
Right? Drink deep and you will taste my kisses.
Ooh la la.
Right?
Put your beer goggles on, baby.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
But no, it's like he's still working it out. Like he's not living the romance life. Like he is. He's a badass. Like,
for sure.
Talks tough because he is tough.
And just look at the language too. Like say goodbye, fuckwad. It's like, when was the last time someone called someone that?
If somebody at 40, if somebody calls me a fuckwad, like they better have their running shoes on.
Right.
But no, it's like this page is like action sequence 101.
Oh yeah.
Like just like gunpoint. This guy's getting ready to get killed. He don't care about the hostage that he has.
Yeah.
And then cold, boom, he's blown away. He was talking as much trash as Sweet was. but it didn't really matter because Sweet was
And you
just waiting
still
on an opportunity.
and you still have the narrator just sitting behind taking notes of everything that's going on.
Telling it on everybody.
Mm-hmm. And like Jason was saying, just with the whole gunfire and everything, and can I say, just look at the way he's falling backwards. Just such a dramatic pose right there. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just a lot to like. We could spend hours on this chapter alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's solid, man. Like
Yeah.
it's so good. Like, and the detail is there, and it's like now this is already like this has become a story.
Yeah, and pretty much as you guys could see what the narrator's saying, if you I don't know what you guys are using to watch this channel on, but it's like what I saw next was surely colored by my imagination as well as by the dying hues of that terrible day's sunset. And what is next that the narrator sees? But what I saw is more real than any dream or memory. You see that fat, bald headed man again, surrounding Sweet and everyone else. And it's like, what's going on? I think I've had enough of your shit, Mr. Sweet. And I've had enough of yours, Percy. Shoot him, boys. And then you see a bunch of holes in them and then
This is
glowing
what
red
you came
eyes.
to the party for.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
now it's here. You see how tough these guys are, and now they
Yep.
don't feel this little man full of holes is not enough.
Yeah. You find out
And
that
he goes
this Uncle
after the
Fester looking
toughest
like
guy
guy
first,
is a vampire.
and he's hungry.
Mm-hmm. And just I love the right here, I love the dramatic pose with the cracks in the glasses. I like that little detail.
Yep.
But yeah, look at that. The guy that we said in the beginning who was like really shady was a vampire all this long. And just yeah, pretty cool stuff. I love the vampire design so far from what I've seen. Like when we go more into the story, not going like putting in detail, but it's just cool to see how like the vampires change and how each one looks different. And yeah, that'll be really fun to get into.
Yeah, this is a very powerful page. Sizzling chicken wings marinated in the blood of the innocents. Your sauce, your choice of sauce: Cujo's Rabbit Ranch or its Blood Balloon Marinara. OMG. I don't want to eat innocent blood wings. Like I love wings, but
There you go, Frank. I'm wearing Stephen King's It shirt, so
I feel like blood in wings is like begging for Sam and Ella like to visit your belly.
Mhm.
So I'd rather
so,
not.
so yeah, here
Stick
you
to
have like
buffalo.
so here you have the guy biting sweets, and he then shoots the guy in the eye, and just I think he kills him at this point. I'm not quite sure.
It seemed like he killed him,
Mhm.
but again, like that's not the rules for killing
Yeah,
vampires. So
exactly.
who
But
knows?
he bit Sweet, and then he sliced that Sweet's neck and made a pretty damn good gash from
Yeah,
just the picture there. Like you could tell, like if someone wasn't a vampire, they definitely would die from that wound.
right. So yeah, so what's that mean? You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like what does that whole page mean? And it was
Yeah.
a perfect time to shift. Like it was a perfect time for a commercial break, so to speak.
Yeah, and just look at the dialogue from the vampire, what he's saying. He ruined everything. He was supposed to be an example of what happens to people who steal from the bank and my railroad.
Look at him. He really is the undead penguin.
Yeah. Yeah. And now here you have Sweet being helped by his teammates, and they don't know what to do with Sweet because look at him. The guy was bit, and literally his throat is slashed to where blood is all over the floor, and you see the blood rushing deeply out of him. But it's like at the same time, you see one eye blue and the other one red. Maybe it was that because like he's turning into a vampire.
Yes, he's definitely got a smile on
Yeah.
his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
like that one right there. You could tell he's starting to change, and his teammates are just basically like, the guy's dead. We have to keep on moving. And it's like I started writing that very night, and I knew two things even then, that what I wrote could only be published as fiction. And just here you have, I believe, the sequence of how he looks like as a young man, as a middle-aged man, and then him as an old man. So yeah, just really cool how he did that. And that goes into chapter 2.
It would
Where
be really cool if this guy gets turned and they do these, like, but he gets younger, like as the years go on. That would be a cool touch. But no, I was looking at this picture. I was looking at this. I was looking at this picture of Skinner Sweet where he's changing that on that page. And it made me chuckle because I'm like, you know how in cartoons where people's friends, they start to starve out and they all start to turn into like steak dinners and all these different things. I felt like this is what Skinner Sweet was looking at his old buddies, like, but like they were all becoming like different kinds of sweets and peppermint sticks and chocolate bars, and he was getting ready to eat them. But no, this will be a fun book. I'm so glad that you found it. I'm so glad that Gary recommended it to us. This will be a fun ride, and it's something that it's almost like a tour of the different ways you can do a vampire story.
Yeah. And just even to have like Stephen King be the writer for some of the stories is just great, because just really enjoying to see the writer on how he's adapting from the novel to a comic book format, you know. But yeah, awesome stuff.
Yeah, this is definitely a strong 8 out of 10 book.
Oh yeah, for sure. Not even reviewing all of it, I'm definitely going to have it like, from a 8 to 8.5.
Yeah, the stories are also different. We should probably rate them as we go, because some will like and some we might not. But
yeah, because like I said, the story between the young woman takes place in the 1920s, and you got Skinner Sweet, and these people are going to meet. So it's going to be one of those things. Like, is each story going to be, awesome and dramatic, or are they going to be like just fill-in stories that aren't going to have like that much like real pop and jazz to it? We'll find out with more next week.
I felt like that this was this got right what the Hellraiser story missed on for me.
Yeah.
There was a couple of spots that the Hellraiser story, obviously, I just didn't connect with it. But this story is just very well paced. Like, it's obviously well written. The artwork is great, but that's what you can really say about any comic book that we review or that we enjoy. But this has the extra thing. Not every book has the extra thing, but this book does. And I don't know, Ronnie, something that I'm learning from this channel pretty much is like DC Vertigo has some solid horror offerings.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For a quote unquote mainstream company like DC, they didn't really they don't pull a lot of punches in the DC Vertigo stuff that I've rifled through, or the stuff that we've done on the channel. This is a good one. Like, in this chapter in particular, I enjoyed this chapter a lot. So yeah, I'm very, very easy 8 out of 10 for me on this one.
Awesome. Same here. I would put it as an 8.5, just for that extra like detail. Actually, no. Yeah, I would say 8.5, because the thing is that Stephen King has had history with like working on stories in the past with the Crypt Keeper comics. No, the Creep Show comics, like based off of the movie. and hopefully eventually we could start reviewing those two, because you got Stephen King's writing there with Bernie Wrightson's artwork, so that's going to be awesome to look forward to. But yeah, just
how
definitely
can you miss with that combo?
Yeah, definitely 8.5 for me. And before we go, again, go check out my friend Jason Alexander.
Many comic bundles.
Exactly.
I also write horror. Now, damn it, go buy these damn books, y'all. They're good.
Yeah.
Check out Ronnie's Coffee.
Yep. You know, I got my.
I don't mean to sound so aggressive, but it's good stuff, man. It really is.
I should put tea instead, but it's coffee, because I can't have coffee anymore.
That's a drag.
Yeah.
Well, get him a coffee like beverage.
Right.
And get some cool artwork in the meantime.
All of our links in the description where you can get Jason and Aaron's books. You have my links and everything. We have the link to the Discord if you want to join our Discord and hang out with us and hop in there and just talk about horror in general.
Yep.
So yeah,
man, y'all, this is a fun thing to do on Thursday night, and me and Ronnie would do it if nobody watched, but it's always cool that people dig what we're doing, and it's like we really appreciate the support, and we'll try to keep
we're in March. Literally April, May. We started this in May, so it's almost a year coming up in 2 months.
Dude, we got to do something special for a year.
Yeah, right?
Dang, I didn't even realize that it was like coming up, but no, you're right. I had time to do it because like I wasn't going anywhere at the time. So it was
with
like,
the pandemic.
Yeah, I was like, all right, yeah, this will be fun to do. I wanted, I knew wanted to start writing horror, and I'm like, what better way to do it than like talking to you and Robert at the time? Like, you guys are like horror scholars. So it was like, this will be a fun ride to go on. It'll give me a little bit of inspiration. And then we found damn Junji Ito, man, and the
Holy Grail.
that was my Fresh Prince of Bel-Air moment. It was like my life got flipped, turned upside down as soon as I read Uzumaki, man. And it was like, it's been just an avalanche of awesome books that we've gotten to do. We've gotten to do books from our friends, like established artists like Gary have let us review their book.
Bring people onto the show. Just awesome stuff.
We had Scott Circlin on the show.
Yeah.
We got to review one of Mr. Geronimo's books, like Blood Realm. Again, like all these different stories that I never would have experienced on my own, have come out of this channel. So no, we should start planning for a year
anniversary.
Yeah. We got to do something different.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Yeah. Well, all right. Y'all be good.
You guys have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.